Hello, my name is Jimmy Allison. I'm an Ableton Live certified trainer at Austin Ableton Tutor, and my stage name is Rentac. This video is a first look at a number of the new features of the Push 2. Ableton Push 2 has a number of cosmetic and ergonomic upgrades as compared to the original Push. Most notable is a large full-color display which provides more in-depth feedback and control over Ableton Live. Physically, a number of controls have been moved for better ergonomics on Push 2. The volume knob has been moved away from the main macros, which will help to avoid accidentally adjusting the master volume. The octave controls are now where the nav button used to be, which is really handy when playing instruments. And the nav button has been moved closer to the add track, add device, and browse buttons, which is nice because you can now also use the nav button to navigate the browser when in browse mode. The master button will now toggle between the master bus and last track selected. The mute and solo select buttons have been moved to the top left next to an additional button, Stop Clip. When you hold down the Stop Clip button, you can then use the row of buttons just below the display to stop the clip in the corresponding track. And holding down the Shift, then pressing the Stop Clip will stop all clips. Just below the mute, solo, and Stop Clip buttons, a Convert button has been added. This button will convert the current clip or instrument into a different format. For example, I'll record in a bass line using my electric upright bass. I can then press the Convert button to load the phrase into Simpler. Slice it up using Simpler's new Slice mode, then convert the phrase to drum rack, all without touching the keyboard or mouse. The User Mode button is now located on the top right of Push. This will be nice for people that use custom mappings or user scripts because the button is now very easy to find since it's on the top right. Next to the User button, a Setup button has been added. In Setup mode, you can quickly switch between scene and clip workflow, adjust the brightness, and adjust the feel of the pads using 3 levels of control: sensitivity, gain, and dynamics, which will help you dial in the feel of the pads. Speaking of feel, the pads have a much smoother feel than the old pads. On the back, the USB input has been recessed, which will provide a more reliable connection. Ableton Push 2 actually feels a tad bit lighter, but is still very solid like the old Push. You'll find the real power of Push 2 when you dive in and start working with Ableton Live. In clip mode, you can now see the waveform of audio clips, and have access to a number of clip controls like zoom and loop position. You can even change the warp modes without touching the mouse. Push 2 workflow with drum racks allows for editing without touching the mouse. You can press Add Track, use the nav pad to select drums, pick a drum rack or even load an empty drum rack, then select the cell with the buttons above the display. Press Browse, then use the nav pad to browse the sample library. Press Load to load into a cell, then select another cell. This time I will go into my own sample library and load a sample from my own collection. Now back in device view, you can select drum rack with the buttons above the display and quickly modify the sample using the Simpler. You can even copy-paste the cell by holding Duplicate, tap the pad you want to copy, then tap the pad you want to paste it to. With Ableton Push 2, you can now open and close racks or group tracks by pressing the button below the display which corresponds to the group or rack. Pressing the Mix button will allow you to quickly adjust volumes, pans, and sends. And pressing the Device button will give you access to the device parameters and devices. Use the button below the display to select the track, then use the buttons above the display to select the device. When the device is selected, if you press the same button again, you will be in full device mode. The buttons above and below the display will be dedicated to the selected device, so you can change banks and modify all the parameters in the device. Press the button named for the device, which is located on the top left, to exit the full device mode. You will still have access to whichever bank was last selected, plus be able to navigate your set. Thank you for watching. This video was just a quick peek into the power of Push 2. Check out my other videos for a more in-depth look into Ableton Live and Push 2. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video very helpful. I'm available for private lessons and classes online and in the Austin, Texas area. Feel free to contact me for more information and check out my website, austinabletontutor.com. Also check out my other videos and like Austin Ableton Tutor on Facebook.